Here's another example of a function converting Fahrenheit temperature to Celsius temperature. Let's try it out. First, it asks me to enter a Fahrenheit temperature, and I'll enter 212 degrees. And it converted that to 100 degrees Celsius, so it seems to work fine. So this would seem to be a good program. Now let's take a look at the writing of the program, and then we'll talk more about it. First of all, I have the documentation, and I say that it's bad, but it seemed to work. Let's go on and look at it, and then we'll see why that I say it's bad. The temperature is being input from the keyboard. So it says enter a Fahrenheit temperature. There it is, and we entered 212 degrees. We converted that. Now this is input as a string. Anything typed in is a string. So we take that string and we convert it to an integer. Can't do arithmetic on it if we don't convert it from a string to an integer. To a number anyway. Okay, then we compute a new temperature using the formula for converting Fahrenheit temperatures to Celsius temperatures. So now we've got the temperature and the new temperature. Now we'll print the Fahrenheit temperature, temp, is equivalent to, and we're going to keep from going to a new line, and then we're going to print a new temperature, the computed Celsius temperature, degrees Celsius. And so it worked. Okay. Now, why, if it works, do I say that that's bad? Well, let's run it again, and I'm going to show you what can go wrong. I'm going to press up arrow. That repeats the previous command. Okay. At this time, instead of typing 212 degrees, I'm just going to simply press enter. Well, this is an example of a Python error. It says here, invalid literal for int with base 10. And it gives the thing that I entered. I just pressed return. I didn't give it a real number. And so when it tried to convert it, a blank, to an integer, it couldn't. And so the program crashed right there. You can see that the statement that it crashed on is temp equal int temp string. So this is not a very robust program. If somebody tried to run the program, they might get this error message, and they would be puzzled as to what's going on. Let's try to improve the program, and here's Fahrenheit to Celsius 2. Now what we want to do is we want to check to see if they entered something. So after entering the Fahrenheit temperature, I'm going to say if temperature string, and then I'm going to do all of those things. Now temperature string is true, is considered to be true if it's anything other than just empty. Okay. This is programming technicality kind of things. Let's run it and see if it corrects the problem. Now I'm going to press up arrow 2 or 3 times until I get back to this one. I'm going to change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius 1 to Fahrenheit to Celsius 2. Save me some typing. Okay, enter a Fahrenheit temperature. 212 works. Okay, I'm going to run it again. This time I'm going to just press enter. Now, it didn't crash. Now, so we made an improvement on this thing. We could have put an else statement in here and say you have to enter a temperature. But this one has problems too. Let's try 212.0. We know it works on 212.0. The problem is that 212.0 is not an integer. It's considered a real number because it's got the 0 there. Or in programmer talk, it's a float. They usually say float rather than integer. Here's an improvement on this thing that's going to correct that. Here is Fahrenheit to Celsius 3. We're going to start off the same way. We're going to input the temperature string, and we're going to check. If the temperature string is not empty, then we're going to do the rest. Okay? But the rest considered is we're going to check to see if the temperature string has a digit. Now, we haven't seen this before, but strings have various methods. These are things that strings can do for themselves, and they're separated from the name of the string by a period. So isDigit is like a function for that string. It's called a method. Okay, if it's entirely digits, it's okay. But if it has a period in it, then it's not all digits. So if everything is a digit is true, then we're going to say we're going to apply the integer, convert the string to integer, and then we're going to compute the new temperature, then we're going to print out the result. Else, we'll print out that you must enter a number, say goodbye. Let's see how that one works. Again, we'll press up arrow till we get to this, and we'll convert it to 3. And we'll enter the temperature. Works fine. Try it again. Up arrow. Press blank. Works fine. We tested to see if we actually entered a string, and since we didn't go through the code that's inside this if statement. Now let's try it again, and this time we'll enter 212.0. We got inside here and we checked to see if it's a digit, and it wasn't. Everything wasn't a digit. The period's there. Else print you must enter a number. Bye. Here's a function that uses integer division. It converts inches to feet. Let's run it. "77 inches is 6 feet 5 inches. Now let's look and see how that's done. First of all, we have to have the 6 feet. So we use integer division, divide by 12, and we look and see how many times 12 will go into the number of inches. In this case, we use 77, and it went 6 times. Now 6 12s are 72, so there are inches left over. And we have these extra inches. We compute them by taking the total inches given minus 12 times the number of feet we computed. 12 times 6 was 72. So when we subtracted 72 from 77, we got 5 inches. So we printed inches is, 77 inches is 6 feet, and the extra inch is 5 inches. So we use integer divide right here, but we got the remainder by multiplying by 12 and subtracting from the total inches. What I want you to do is to rewrite this function so that it uses the remainder function, percent, to compute the inches that are left over. Remember how that works. If we take 19 and divide by 5, we get a remainder of 4. Now I want you to modify this function, call it inches to feet 2, and replace the middle line with the one that computes the extra inches by using the remainder function, the percent operator. Press the continue button when you have finished writing your function. Here's my solution. The only difference is right here in this line. We take inches, %12, that gives us the remainder on dividing by 12. That's the extra inches.